Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that it's a brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Welcome to Brainstorm. Congolese women and entrepreneurship. That is a fascinating topic we're going to discuss in this program. What is entrepreneurship? What can Congolese women do to meet the challenge of entrepreneurship? And what can Congolese women look forward to as entrepreneurship is concerned? I'm honored on this platform for the very first time to welcome a lady. Not the very first time, the second time, but a very first time to welcome a lady. Her name is Divine Tunga. Hello, Divine.
Hello, Mr. Tumbi.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I hope you too.
I'm really happy to
I'm
welcome
happy
you.
too.
The very first time.
Thank you for having me.
Second time for a lady on this platform to discuss a very interesting issue, Congolese women and entrepreneurship. Let me introduce you Divine Tunga, we call Divine Tunga. She is an entrepreneur to become. She's also a free thinker. Powerful graduate means a powerful force for earning life, English center. Yeah, today we're going to discuss these things very important. As a lady, I know you're also interested in this subject because you are an entrepreneur to become. Whenever you hear about entrepreneurship, what comes to your mind?
Thank you, Wal. The first thing that comes to my mind whenever I hear about entrepreneurship is creativity and innovation, because to create means to bring something into existence, and to innovate means to bring something new into existence. That's the very first thing that comes to my mind whenever I hear about entrepreneurship.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Sounds great. The definition or explanation you have provided is regarding entrepreneurship. Please, ladies and gentlemen, watch this video that talks about what entrepreneurship is, and we'll be back.
What exactly is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person with an idea for a product or service. They decide to start a business which brings this idea to life. Maybe they've always dreamed of opening their own boutique. Or maybe they want to create an app which millions of people will use. So the dream of an entrepreneur can be big or small, but most of the successful ones share a number of characteristics. They're passionate, motivated, independent, and creative. Entrepreneurs love thinking outside the box. They're always looking to expand their knowledge, break out of their comfort zone, and find new opportunities in the marketplace. They don't just accept things as they are. They also believe that their ideas have value and that they have something special to bring to the table. So what do you think? Could you be an entrepreneur?
GCF Global, creating opportunities for a better life.
Why is this a subject worth talking about?
Thank you. That's a very good question. As things stand at the moment in our country, I think that it's crucial, to talk about entrepreneurship simply because the problem of worklessness is of a great significance. Nowadays, it's so hard to find a job. Therefore, many young graduates are out of work, and this situation is making their life a hell. That's why I'm convinced that it's essential to not only to talk about entrepreneurship, but also to promote entrepreneurship.
But when we talk about job creation, most of the time men are involved and women are left behind. Do you think that it's important for ladies to be involved in entrepreneurship nowadays?
Absolutely, because it is said that one of the reasons Africa is underdeveloped is because we neglected the role and the capacity of women. They must get involved because the country, specifically our country, needs the help of everybody, women and men, all the citizens. And when it comes down to the marriage, I think it's unfair to let the man work alone. When the man is working, the woman must find something to do so that she can help.
That's a wish as a lady, but there are also mothers, fathers, parents. When they educate their children, they mostly promote male children education. When they find themselves in a crisis, financial crisis, they promote male education. So why is that? Whereas we want to promote entrepreneurship, especially for ladies?
Because I think it's the matter of our culture. Our parents were raised and educated in that way. They grew up thinking that women are only better in marriage, so they inculcated that mindset to their daughters. That's even the reason why many girls and women lack the self-confidence. And it's hilarious because this question reminds me of one story. I remember when I was a teenager, one of my friends came to me with her phone saying that something was wrong with her phone. So she gave me the phone, and after a couple of minutes, I realized that it was a network problem. So I told her to go to the shop because the problem couldn't be solved at home. And after that, she told me that, Divine, I think that I have to give it to your brother. I was shocked, and I said, why? Because my brother will say the same exact thing, because this is actually a network problem. Despite of that, she went away, and after a moment, she came back to me saying that, yes, Divine, you were right. It is a network problem. At that time, I remember I blamed her because to me it was illogical to see someone thinking that way. But after years, I just realized that she was raised in that way and educated, so it wasn't her fault. That's it. It's a matter of our culture.
This is something very, very relevant, and push me to ask another question. How much education should a girl take to be successful in entrepreneurship?
That's a nice question. As I've been talking about the self-confidence, I think they should first learn the self-confidence, and in addition to that, obviously, they have to learn the financial education, to learn the basics of investing, to get the fiscal knowledge so that they can cleverly invest. And there are many books talking about that.
Okay, there are many books talking about that. They can themselves learn. They can study even though they are not able, or parents are not able to finance their education, right? Be able to become an entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely.
And what kind of activities that could be taken by Congolese ladies to be financially independent?
Thank you, sir. To be honest with you, I generally think that there is no specific activity cut to size like this for women. Therefore, I would say in any activity, because as Donald Trump said, anything can be successfully done unless you love that. You must put yourself in that and to work with all your heart. And in that way, things will work for you.
And looking at Congolese context, Congolese society, what kinds of activities that could be undertaken? For instance, generally speaking, ladies, what can they do to promote entrepreneurship or to be financially independent? Because they think about marriage. No, I will be married one day. I will have my own family. I'll be dependent on my husband. So what you yourself have noticed that can be done on the ground for ladies to be financially independent? Congolese society, Congolese community.
Well, I think, first of all, there is a plethora of businesses. As I said previously, you must just choose what you know and what you love. In my opinion, that way they can do.
There are many Congolese ladies who are independent, financially speaking, and they're also willing to do some of the activities to take care of themselves. This video helps you watch a lady doing a cafe business, and she's successful. Please watch, and we're back.
On an island in Lake Kivu in eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, row after row of coffee bushes are bringing forth a rich harvest of berries. And the main beneficiaries will be women, the outcome of an equity project in a sector where women are notoriously sidelined and underpaid. 9 years ago, Marceline Budze founded an NGO called Rebuild Women's Hope to expand the role of women in the country's coffee sector. She says they have really seen good results because they produce high-quality coffee, a speciality coffee that is very much appreciated on the international scene, and so there is demand. Overcoming prejudice, not to mention red tape, tax demands, fraud and lack of credit, has taken years of effort, which are now being rewarded. Today, the NGO employs at least 12,000 women at the peak of the coffee harvesting season. The women mainly work in processing the coffee and in office administration and are paid at the same rate as the nearly 900 men. Rosette says she's been working in the coffee industry for 6 years. The job has allowed her to send her children to school and to give them food. Arabica coffee from the island of Ijwi has a worldwide reputation. Daniel Abamungo, Managing Director of Mungano Agricultural Corporation, explains that it is a high-altitude coffee, a coffee with an exceptional flavour, with an exceptional aroma thanks to the volcanic soil. These are all the elements that make Congolese coffee the most special. Between 6 and 10 containers of coffee are produced per harvest, each holding 19 tonnes of coffee. The coffee comes from the NGO's own fields, but also from a number of small producers. And it's hoped they'll be able to expand and reach 20 containers per harvest using only local labour.
Well, so as a Congolese woman, what are some practical tips for successful job creation?
Thank you. Practical tips for a job creation. I remember one day Jeff Bezos, in one of his speech, Jeff Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He said the practical tips for a job creation is, first of all, observation. I mean, you must recognize what is missing in your community so that you can bring a solution. And second of all is information. You must conduct in-depth research on the market and on opportunities before launching your product or your business. And the last but not the least is a strategy of keeping customers.
It shows clearly that you read a lot. You are
I do.
great readers. Because your speech, what you're saying, doesn't come from your own experience, from someone else's experience. So it means that you can also tell other girls to read a lot. They can learn from others through reading and also discover what they can do. But there is another concern for Congolese ladies. Most of them think that marriage is a solution to be financially stable instead of commercial business. What can be done to change their mindsets?
Thank you. I would say this. As this started at home or in the family, I think parents should now empower their daughters. They must tell them that you are able to create a successful business. You are able to lead a company. And I also believe that the government has got a huge role to play in all of that. The government must strengthen the educational system to promote the self-confidence and the gender equality as well. Why not?
Oh, that's really true. You know, from Congolese regulations or constitutions, you know, that what is recommended, equal advantage, men and women. But when we look at the situation carefully, it seems that there are less ladies who can have an outstanding qualities just to do better in society. Most of them think to be housewives. To say in my household, to take care of my children, and then I will be happy, then successful. You think that that mindset can easily be changed?
I don't think that mindset can be easily changed. I think it's a process. It's a long process. They must get involved in that. They must have the willing to move forward to have a good mindset. It's a process. It's a long process even.
Divine is a avid reader. She finds out many things through reading, and she could be able to give some advice for ladies on how to become financially independent through job creation. So there's another on this video who's going to give some advice to ladies. Please watch and we'll be back.
My best advice for women's entrepreneurs would be just be passionate about what you do. Go at it day after day, work hard at it, and you would succeed.
Try and run a business that you can push down a hill or try to push against an open door. And for us, that means trying to get away from all the noise and to really focus on where the opportunity is.
My advice to women entrepreneurs would be to actually spend time with women who are not entrepreneurs, who are like myself in the corporate setting. I think we could learn a lot from each other.
My best advice to women entrepreneurs is reframe the question to a place of yes. People are going to tell you a million reasons why something can't happen, why someone can't run a business or you can't do something. You just have to ask yourself, how can that happen?
Growth and comfort don't coexist. I'd say be prepared to get uncomfortable.
My best piece of advice for other women entrepreneurs is don't waste time being the business person you think you should be. Your instinct has a lot to answer for, so listen to it.
Just be the best you can be, and if you believe that you can, then you will.
Let's shout about it, tell your story, and ensure that together we're acting as growth heroes and inspiring the next generation of female entrepreneurs.
Continue to innovate. Innovation is the engine of growth and progress.
All right. Now, it seems that single women are much concerned about entrepreneurship than married ones are. Is that true?
When you try to come closer and to look the situation on the ground, to be honest with you, sir, I would say yes. I would send you back again in the family education that they had. For many of them, they think that marriage is the achievement of everything. For them, life is like, I was born, I studied, and then I get married, period. But personally, I think that life is better than that, because after the marriage, life continues. You can make up your mind to solve society problem with entrepreneurship.
But there is a sad reality. I myself noticed that professional ladies, most of them, I can say 80% hardly get married. They prefer the kind of life they free, they earn their own money, so they don't need marriage, to avoid being dependent on men. So how can you justify this phenomenon?
To me, I think they mingle things, I don't know. But personally, I generally think that you can do both. You can get married and you can handle your business.
And you know what? Men are afraid of them. Oh, she's free. She works. She has studied. She got a bachelor degree and so on. Men avoid them. That might be the reason most of the parents don't go to undertake higher education to have a job, because you will remain single. So better get to marry. So it's something that happens. So it's very tough. But it takes a time, all right?
Absolutely.
You think it's only a professional or a cultural realities? That is due to our culture, Congolese culture, or to the professional realities?
To me, I think is a culture problem, because in our culture it is like that. In our country, it's normal. It's normal to behave in that way, and yes.
Now, there is another question we like to ask, because someone cannot become an entrepreneur, be it a man or a lady, without a partner. So what kind of partnership is required to be a successful entrepreneur?
Thank you, sir. The required partnership is based on, according to Jack Ma, is based on honesty, trust, the mutual respect, and most important is the respect of commitment. When you go to a partner, you must be sure that he is going to respect your commitment.
Okay, so the partner can trust you, can also accept to start business with you, because on your own you don't have any capital, you don't know where to start, but a partner can be willing to cooperate with you. So that sounds great. But you are an entrepreneur to become. What can you give as advice to young ladies watching you? Because from maybe your own experience through studies and so what you know, you are really convinced to become an entrepreneur. So what can you tell them? What can they do to be successful, as you yourself want to be successful?
I will say this. They must know everything they can about what they are doing, because that's the best way to cover their basics. they don't have to count on happenstance to get them anywhere because it won't. Every inch must be accounting for.
And for those who still hesitate, they hesitate to launch themselves in business. What can you tell? No, maybe I fail, it will or not work, and they are hesitant. Are there some qualities, criteria that are needed in order to do that?
For those who still hesitating, in one of the book of Napoleon, I remember he said, for them, they don't have to wait. They have to where they stand and to work whatever tools they may have at their command, and better tools will be found as they go along.
There are several activities that are open to ladies, especially Congolese. They need to watch others, what they do. In this video, you're going to find out a lady doing honey business. So how does she do in order to make it better? Please watch and we're back.
You're born in a third country and you go back often, you cannot unsee what you've seen.
A woman seeking the American dream is lifting female farmers in Congo from poverty. As we spotlight the good deeds here in San Diego County, our ABC 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle shows us how a local woman's dream is creating opportunities for women across the globe.
Noemi Mwaka loves her family.
I have to say my parents, I always say they're like the pillar of what a parent should be. If I can be less than 10% of a good parent that they were to me, I've done well.
They moved when she was 8 years old from Congo to Canada, but her mind wanders back home all the time.
Growing up in Congo, part of what fuels my ambition, you know, you may live well, but you walk outside, you see such extreme poverty. And a lot of time, it's always women and children.
In November, she got a package that would open opportunity for those women.
My dad sent me a sample. He's like, oh, just try it. You know, it's me loving you as a father, because he lives in Congo. So he sent it to me just like, oh, just have it because I know you're into organic foods.
That sample was honey, harvested by women in rural parts of Congo and sold on the streets. Mwaka realized this was her opportunity and came to San Diego in February to start her business.
Her honey out here on the shelf at Communal Coffee in North Park in the last 2 weeks, and it's already selling.
Providing secure weekly income that is life-changing.
That's huge. Like for $300, you can easily buy property. With $300, you can easily put your kids in school.
Her love for her homeland not stopping there. These women harvest honey with no protection, and she wants to change that.
To go in the forest, to be exposed to that kind of environment, you're putting your life in danger. So one of the things that we definitely want to do later this year is to donate those gears, absolutely.
When it came time to name her product, of course, she thought of family.
My dad's name is Bertin Mwaka, and his middle name is Lubembo, so Bertin Lubembo Mwaka, and his father's name was also Lubembo, and he gave that name to my brother.
A strong name for a strong mission. Cassie Carlisle, ABC 10 News.
It's really making a difference. Mwaka hopes her honey starts a conversation on how your purchases affect others around the world.
Yeah, right. We are moving Lulu to the end of our show. So now, I think there are also some ideas we need to touch on. Some people think that entrepreneurship is one of the ways to fight poverty. Is that true?
It's
if that is the case,
true.
Absolutely true. So why do you say that?
First of all, it is known that the development of a country largely depends on entrepreneurship. No country can be developed only by public companies. It's practically impossible because there aren't even enough. Therefore, the country needs the help of entrepreneurs so that they can create jobs and they will give job to people. And through these different companies, the country will have taxes, and taxes mean, as we all know, resources that enable the country to provide more benefit to its citizens.
You're right. You know, a lot of Congolese people, especially, I don't say especially ladies, Congolese people generally speaking, and that idea also influence our ladies. Say that the state doesn't do anything for us. The state doesn't do anything for us. They want to look to the state to do every single thing for them. You think that is the right way if you want the country to take off in terms of development?
To me, I think that there are people who are getting richer in the same country in this crisis. And we only have to change our mindset to say to ourselves that if there are people who are getting richer, it's possible to me to get richer as well.
From your knowledge, what does it take to create one's job?
Specifically in our country, to create one's job takes first courage and knowledge.
Courage and knowledge. And is there any school in DRC, namely Kinshasa City, for entrepreneurship?
There may exist some, but personally I only know one called Asitec International School. In Asitec International School, entrepreneurship is taught in an early age from primary school.
Thank you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, watch this video about a lady, a taxi driver, but she does business with a taxi driver like men. Please watch her.
It'd be hard to miss them. These bright pink cars are a startling contrast to the usual taxis found in Kinshasa. Driven exclusively by women, they offer a high-end ride-hailing service in the Congolese capital.
Quelque chose ici, madame? Avec plaisir, merci beaucoup.
Most clients are also women. Christelle says Uber's cabs are a more comfortable and safer way of getting around.
I've always been a bit scared to drive in Kinshasa because it's complicated, but seeing a woman behind the wheel, it really gives you confidence. It makes you realize that you can do it.
Yes, we can.
Launched 2 years ago, Ubis Cabs aims to make a big impact on the transport sector in DR Congo. The company has set up its own academy to train up to 100 female drivers this year.
Ce point-là, nous gardons nos engagements. Faire du client le roi.
Most trainees are recent graduates who were previously unemployed.
First of all, there was no such thing as female taxi drivers here in the DRC. So when I saw they were hiring women, I thought to myself, well, this could be an opportunity for me.
Ubis Cabs is the brainchild of Patricia Nzolantima, a Stanford and Harvard-educated entrepreneur who has high hopes for Congolese women.
Ever since I became an entrepreneur, I've always invested in women, because I believe in women. I believe that African women will succeed where men have failed. Believe me, put women in positions of power and they'll change the world.
For Patricia, the sky's the limit. She now wants to expand internationally and compete with the likes of Lyft and Uber.
Okay, so why should girls' job creation spirit start from?
I think the job creation spirit should start from high school. The teacher can start boosting the creativity of his pupils so that when they complete their study, they can put in place an activity. So how can a teacher boost the creativity of his pupils? He can come a day with a quiz saying that, imagine the situation in which a society is missing, let's say, cassava bread, and you are the chief of this community. And if within 3 months there is no cassava bread, people will die. Believe me, every single pupil will make up his mind in order to bring a solution. Otherwise, people will die. And if they are used to doing such quizzes, I'm convinced that they will never and ever wait for the government to create jobs for them. They will create many jobs, and at the same time, they will give jobs to people.
And frankly speaking, you think that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, we can talk about development without entrepreneurship, especially ladies or women?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so.
Why?
Our country needs the help of women because our country is made of, the most majority of the population are women. That's it.
And now, the very last question, and then you could also say the last word to the audience, your friends watching you. So, what could Congolese ladies look forward to in the future as far as entrepreneurship is concerned?
They have to know that entrepreneurship has got the power to transform a better situation into an eliminated future. So let's think, let's take action, let's create new businesses, let's take risk, let's innovate. And I believe from the bottom of my heart that with entrepreneurship, we can make this beautiful country the center of the influence of all Africa.
Divine Tunga, I'm really very happy to host you as a guest. I'm proud of you.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you, sir.
We are very delighted at the end of this talk show. It was fascinating. As I told you at the outset, Divine Tunga, a knowledgeable lady on this platform, broke down the different aspects related to entrepreneurship. And this is not the end. I think there in upcoming days, we'll be discussing several other issues along with ladies, especially Eric as well. Please stay tuned on the Second National Channel and keep yourself in good shape. Bye. Here are some highlights of this program. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that this Brainstorm. Yourself after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.